A new report says Prince Harry and Meghan Markle don't really like anything about each other.
In the middle of the night, while most of America was already asleep, a video suddenly appeared and reignited an old flame in the royal heart. Harry and Meghan declared they were leaving the palace because of prolonged internal pressure. And for the first time, Meghan directly named Princess Anne as the source of the silent rifts. Harry said he chose to protect his wife and children, accepting the trade-off of his position. But he also revealed his anxiety about his children's rights at the very moment William was preparing to step more clearly into the role of heir. The palace responded with a brief, cold statement. Then Anne broke the silence, not with emotion, but with a firm declaration. She had never taken anything away, and hinted that the love story might merely be an image strategy, that Harry and Meghan's marriage was nothing more than a contract. And right after that, the photo of the bruised hand appeared. Legal documents were made public. Harry fell silent, and Meghan stood alone before the cameras. The public began to wonder, was this the tragedy of a misunderstood marriage or a dark conspiracy of honor and power? On the night of February 20th, 2026, while London slept under a cold blanket, phone screens across the world suddenly lit up. An 8-minute video from Harry and Meghan's X account was posted at 2 a.m. UK time, a moment when traditional media was asleep. But social media never stops breathing. Harry appeared first, sitting on a light gray sofa in a California hotel living room. Warm, yellow lamplight illuminated his face, revealing deep lines around his eyes, the marks of years of stress. A plain white shirt, no tie, no royal insignia. His voice was low, slow, but heavy. We tried our very best to stay. We sacrificed. We stayed silent. We accepted things no one should have to endure. But prolonged internal pressure finally pushed us to the limit. This was a necessary decision to protect our family. Meghan sat beside him, her hand tightly clasped in his. A beige cashmere sweater, hair worn naturally loose, minimal makeup. Her eyes glistened, her voice slightly trembling, yet resolute. I never felt welcome there. From the very first day I stepped into the royal family, I faced suspicion and unfair standards. Princess Anne, she never accepted me. She repeatedly pressured me about protocol, about public image, about how I should behave to fit in. Those pressures targeted our marriage, causing cracks day after day. The accusation landed like a heavy stone into still water. Princess Anne, the woman renowned for iron discipline, respected throughout the royal family, suddenly became the center of a scandal. Harry continued, his voice mixing anger and pain. I stood up to protect the woman I love, to protect our children. That's why we left the palace, left the privileges everyone thought the royal family would always grant. But the truth is, the royal family sent a clear message that Archie and Lilibet would no longer be guaranteed certain basic rights as expected. We demand transparency, open and clear, about our children's entitlements. The timing could not have been coincidental. In just 3 weeks, Prince William would officially enter the most significant power transition phase since his father's accession. And at that precise, sensitive moment, Harry and Meghan dropped this bomb named Family Truth, but aimed squarely at the system's credibility. Within the first 45 minutes, the video surpassed 12 million views. Public opinion split violently. Buckingham Palace responded at 7 a.m. with a terse statement on their official account. The royal family respects the personal decision of the Duke and Duchess of Sussex. Allegations concerning Princess Anne are inaccurate and baseless. No detailed explanation, no point-by-point rebuttal. The dry words only fueled the flames of suspicion even more fiercely. Meanwhile, in their seaside Montecito villa, Harry and Meghan watched the flood of comments. Meghan leaned her head on her husband's shoulder, whispering, "See? We're changing everything. They can't stay silent forever." Harry nodded, eyes distant, squeezing her hand tightly. But behind that moment, a vague anxiety crept in. On the morning of February 21st, 2026, as the first rays of sunlight slipped through the thick curtains at Gatcombe Park, Princess Anne had long been awake. She rose at 5:30 a.m., as always, her iron discipline unbroken for over 7 decades. She gently collected fresh eggs from the coop, feeling the still warm shells, a rare moment of simplicity amid the constraints of royal life. But this morning, that peace was shattered by the insistent ringing of her phone on the oak desk. She picked it up. The screen showed a barrage of notifications. Harry and Meghan's video had already exceeded 30 million views in just a few hours. She sat in the armchair, took a sip of strong Earl Grey, no sugar, no milk, and watched the clip again. Her face remained expressionless, but a suppressed flash of fury sparked in her sharp eyes. "Slander," she muttered, so quietly only she could hear. She had never demanded that Harry and Meghan divorce. She had never signed any directive to strip Archie or Lilibet of their rights. Those accusations about protocol pressure, about never accepting Meghan, were entirely fabricated. They were not merely untrue. They were a direct attack on her honor, on a woman who had devoted her entire life to service without a single complaint. But Anne was not the type to let emotion override reason. She set the teacup down, took out her old leather notebook, where she meticulously recorded everything, and began analyzing. The timing of the video release, right before the most critical transition period the royal family had faced since King Charles's accession. William was about to undertake a major overseas tour as heir apparent. The Modern Monarchy campaign was being accelerated to regain public trust after difficult years. Harry and Meghan had chosen exactly that moment to detonate the bomb, not an emotional outburst, but a carefully calculated move. They want to destabilize William, she thought, her heart beating faster as the sophistication sank in. They want to turn a personal story into a political weapon. She summoned her closest aide, a middle-aged man who had worked with her for over 2 decades, into the room. "Prepare a statement," she said curtly, her voice calm yet razor-sharp. "Nothing lengthy, no justification, just the truth." A few hours later, Princess Anne's normally reticent office issued a short but explosive release. The relationship between the Duke and Duchess of Sussex has, from the beginning, carried a clear element of image strategy, the statement read. Their love story was partly constructed on the classic motif of a prince giving up everything for love, designed to win support from modern audiences, especially young people and American viewers. These elements were exploited to build their personal brand. "I have seen their marriage contract." The words were not vicious, not directly insulting, yet sharp enough to puncture the victim narrative Harry and Meghan had carefully crafted. The information spread like wildfire. Anne sat by the warm fireplace, watching the flood of comments on her computer screen. She neither smiled nor showed overt anger. She was too weary for such displays. But deep inside, a heavy disappointment rose. "Why did they have to drag me into this?" she whispered to her aide as he brought more tea. "I never wanted to harm anyone. I only wanted them to be happy. In their own way." The aide remained silent, knowing this was not the moment for comfort. Anne did not need consoling words. Anne had once advised Harry and Meghan to adjust their image to better align with royal tradition, but she had never forced or threatened them. Now those suggestions had been twisted into pressure that fractured their marriage. She felt the weight of the battle, not just defending her personal honor, but protecting the monarchy's image at this fragile moment of transition. She stood, walked into the garden where the horses were neighing. Cold wind swept past, carrying the scent of fresh grass and damp earth. She gazed toward the distant London horizon, where the storm still raged. "They think silence is weakness," she thought, "but truth will prevail." And she knew her response had only just begun. The world was waiting for the next move, from Montecito, or from the very heart of the royal family. Rewind to the summer of 2016, when London glowed under rare sunshine. Harry and Meghan met for the first time at a blind date arranged by mutual friends at Soho House. Harry, the 31-year-old prince carrying invisible scars from Afghanistan, entered the private room with a shy smile. Meghan, the 35-year-old American actress from Suits, sat there radiating confidence, her curly hair cascading freely. No one could have predicted that first eye contact would alter their lives forever. Love erupted quickly, fiercely like a whirlwind. Harry later wrote in Spare that Meghan made him feel alive again after years of loneliness and royal pressure. They dated secretly, clandestine trips to Botswana, quiet evenings cooking together at Nottingham Cottage. "You're the woman I've been waiting for," Harry whispered on their second date, his hand trembling as it touched hers. Meghan replied with a warm smile, "And you're the man who made me believe love can overcome every barrier." That love was real, sincere, passionate, and strong enough for Harry to propose under artificial stars in Kensington Gardens in November 2017. Their 2018 wedding at St. George's Chapel became a global event, watched by billions, but from the beginning, love began to be diluted by outside pressure. Their media team, Hollywood, and Archewell experts quickly recognized the potential. Turn the story into a modern symbol, love transcending racial prejudice and royal tradition. They did exactly that. The prince who gave up everything for love. Image was amplified through interviews, wedding photos, and later the Netflix docuseries. The Harry and Meghan series launched in 2022 and broke viewing records, becoming Netflix's most watched documentary at the time. Money poured in, tens of millions from the Netflix deal, lucrative speaking engagements. But the royal family reacted strongly when Princess Anne discovered that cracks in their marriage had appeared early. Yet they still signed a marriage contract that appeared performative, working together to attract viewers and revenue. At first, everything seemed perfect. Over time, however, success fell short of expectations. Harry and Meghan remained the peak, but later projects attracted only a few million views, ranked poorly on Netflix, and failed to crack the top 1,000 in the second half of 2025. Financial pressure mounted high security costs in Montecito, maintaining an ultra-luxury lifestyle and raising two young children. Internal conflicts gradually surfaced. Meghan, strong-willed and ambitious, wanted to push her modern female hero image, focusing on women's empowerment, cooking, and children's books. Harry, conversely, longed for more peace, returning to the Invictus Games and veterans issues. Arguments began, not loud, but simmering. And then that video appeared. They decided to collaborate to salvage the situation. A tearful struggle video designed to win sympathy and regain support. However, the public backlash after the video only deepened their predicament. Meghan chose to strike back hard. She posted a photo on X, her hand purple-red with faint bruises, the background resembling a Buckingham Palace corridor, though in reality it was an old photo from a previous trip to England when she had fallen downstairs in a hurry. The caption was brief. "This is what I have had to endure. I can no longer stay silent." The image spread like wildfire, igniting outrage. Did Anne hit her? Was there actual physical violence? No direct evidence, but the photo transformed Meghan into a tragic victim in the eyes of the viewer. Harry did not comment, and an ominous silence that fueled even more speculation. In the Montecito villa, Meghan sat before the mirror, wiping tears. "We have to save everything. We can't let them win." But deep down, fear crept in. The once brilliant love was now reduced to ashes, exploited to cover ever-widening cracks. Their love, once a flame that lit up the world, had become a weapon in a media war. And the world, watching every move, began to ask, was it still strong enough to save them all? Princess Anne was not someone easily defeated by emotional accusations. After Meghan's bruised hand photo went viral in late February 2026, she felt a surge of fury. Not fear, but outrage at blatant falsehood. "Enough," she told her personal lawyer in a 6 a.m. call, her voice ringing like a command. She wasted no time. She publicly denied every allegation. She had never struck Meghan, never stripped the children of rights, and never issued any directive to remove Archie or Lilibet's entitlements. Within 24 hours, the decisive blow landed. Anne's office demanded the release of the complete legal files concerning the grandchildren's rights, a thick stack of documents sent to major newsrooms in London and Washington. The files included letters patent from Queen Elizabeth II's time, updates under King Charles III, and internal royal meeting minutes. They clearly showed that Archie and Lilibet retained all basic rights under current rules. They were Prince Archie and Princess Lilibet, titles automatically recognized when their grandfather acceded in 2022, and remained fully valid with no document ever stripping them, as Harry claimed. No trust fund cuts, no changes to basic security or education rights. The royal family would never do that to children, Anne stated in a rare BBC interview that afternoon, her voice calm yet weighty. "We protect family. We do not destroy it. These allegations are not only untrue, but they also harm the grandchildren themselves." The public descended into genuine chaos. Two opposing streams of information collided violently. One side, the emotional pain of Meghan's bruised hand photo. The other, the dry but compelling force of legal documentation. On X and forums, arguments exploded like wildfire. Public attention turned to Harry and Meghan's public schedules in 2025 to 2026. Many events billed as joint appearances featured only one of them. "Their marriage is in trouble," one post read excitedly. "They hardly appear together anymore." Suspicion about the state of their marriage grew, though no concrete proof of divorce or total breakdown existed. Rumors spread, from arguments about Harry possibly returning to Britain part-time to reports of opposing schedules, keeping them apart for long periods. Opinion began tilting toward Anne, The legal files were too clear, too convincing to dismiss. Anne, sitting in the Kensington garden under rare London sunshine, felt a small victory mixed with sadness. She called William that evening. "I didn't want to win this battle," she said, voice dropping. "I only wanted the truth to come out. For the grandchildren, for the family." William was silent for a moment, then replied, "You did the right thing, Anne, but my brother, he's lost his way." Meanwhile, in Montecito, Harry and Meghan watched from afar. Meghan gripped her phone tightly. "They think this is the end?" Harry stared out the window, voice weary. "No, darling, this is just the beginning of a longer war." And the world, witnessing every step, began to wonder. Would the legal files be enough to extinguish the fire? Or would they only make it burn hotter? That evening, as Montecito sank into the gentle darkness of the California hills, a notorious paparazzo named James, famous for perfectly timed shots, uploaded the first series of photos to his personal X account. They captured moments outside Harry and Meghan's villa gate. Meghan alone pushing Archie's stroller to his private preschool. A forced smile as she bent to kiss her son. Then shopping at the local organic farmers market. A basket full of green vegetables. But no sign of Harry. James's caption was short yet provocative. "Meghan alone today. Where's Harry?" Within hours, the post exceeded 2 million views and shot straight to global trending. Public opinion, already swaying after Anne's legal files, now tilted decisively toward Princess Anne. Meghan's bruised hand photo, once a storm, suddenly felt unconvincing. Too dramatic, too much like a movie scene rather than real evidence. It didn't stop there. Another short video leaked from a recent New York charity gala. Harry appeared alone at the Veterans Support event, dressed in a simple black tie, face exhausted with dark circles under his eyes. He spoke briefly about the Invictus Games, then quickly left the stage. In a zoomed-in moment, he whispered to an old friend, "I just want this all to end." His voice was barely audible, but auto-generated subtitles spread the phrase far and wide. Was this a genuine moment, or a staged scene to reassure the public that everything is fine? Meghan sensed the wind shifting. She could not sit still. The next evening, she hosted a short live stream on X from the villa's living room. Bookshelves warm in the background. Children's drawings by Archie and Lilibet on the wall. She sat on the familiar sofa in an oversized cream sweater, holding a mug of herbal tea. "I want to say a few words," she began, voice trembling but trying to stay composed. "I love Harry. We're facing huge challenges, but family comes first. Those recent photos? Just normal moments in our busy lives. Harry is focusing on Invictus, and I'm taking care of the children and our projects. We're still together." Tears rolled down her cheeks. She wiped them quickly. "I don't want people to think we're falling apart. We're fighting for our children's future." The live stream ended after 12 minutes, but the reaction was not what she hoped. Harry's silence became the loudest element. He did not like the stream, did not post a supportive story, and did not refute any rumors. His absence was interpreted in every direction, a rift so deep they no longer wished to defend each other publicly. A mutual silence agreement to avoid prolonged litigation, or simply that he was exhausted and no longer had the energy to continue the performance. Inside the villa, the atmosphere was heavy. Meghan turned off the camera, turned to Harry sitting in the corner, staring out into the dark window. "You're not going to say anything?" she asked, voice low but full of disappointment. Harry sighed. tired. "What is there to say now, Meghan? Everything is already too messy. I don't want to pour more fuel on the fire." Meghan clenched her fists. "But if you stay silent, they'll know we really have problems. They'll win." Harry looked at her, eyes distant. "Maybe we lost a long time ago." That same night, Harry quietly hired separate counsel to handle marital financial matters, including asset division and children's trust funds. Rumors spread like wildfire, turning the once iconic couple of love into a mystery full of drama. Public opinion swung firmly toward Anne. Meghan's evidence no longer convinced, while Harry's silence felt like a tacit admission. At Gatcombe Park, Anne watched from afar, holding a cup of cold tea. She did not smile in triumph, only a deep, quiet sorrow. "They are hurting themselves," she whispered. The world waited. Would Harry speak, or would the silence stretch on, turning everything into an unspoken ending? After the fierce back-and-forth exchanges throughout late February 2026, a strange silence suddenly descended. No more surprise videos from Montecito. No more sharp statements from Gatcombe Park. No more tearful live streams or trending hashtags. Only vast, empty spaces on social media where heated debates had once raged, now held only scattered old comments. Harry and Meghan completely withdrew from the public spotlight. Their Instagram accounts stopped posting. The Archewell Foundation issued a brief notice. "We are temporarily pausing all media activity to focus on family and long-term projects. No further explanation. No return date promised." Princess Anne also chose silence. She continued her royal schedule as usual, visiting a Gloucestershire farm, attending an agricultural award ceremony, and meeting veterans at a rehabilitation center. She did not refer to the video, no comment on the bruised hand photo, no response to any threats of further revelations from Harry's lawyers. Her silence was not weakness, it was a strategy. She understood that in today's media world, silence can sometimes be the loudest voice. Each day she did not react only made the public wonder. If Anne isn't rebutting, perhaps she no longer needs to. But silence did not extinguish doubt. It caused it to smolder and spread like toxic smoke. On forums, thousands of comments dissect every detail. "They've quietly divorced, haven't they?" No new evidence emerged, but the very void created hundreds of theories. Some believed Harry was negotiating privately with the royal family for a partial return to Britain. Others thought Meghan was preparing a major new project. No one knew for certain, and that very ambiguity kept the public from letting go. Consequences began to materialize on financial and reputational fronts. Major media partners grew cautious. Netflix, which had once paid tens of millions for Harry and Meghan, indefinitely postponed the next season of With Love, Meghan. They wanted greater transparency before signing further deals. Spotify went completely quiet about any projects tied to the couple. Private investors called emergency meetings. On the royal side, William felt the impact most acutely. He was preparing for his first major tour of Asia as the official heir apparent. Yet all attention remained glued to his brother's drama. In a rare phone call with Harry, the first in many months, William could not hide his emotion. "Little brother, I don't want it to be like this. Let's talk. For Dad, for the children." Harry was silent for a long time, then replied softly, "I don't know what to say anymore, William. It's all too late." The call ended without resolution. The family rift widened, shaking the monarchy's image right before its most important transition moment. The following days became a chain of terrifying stillness. No new scandals, No bombshell revelations. Only questions left hanging. What was the true motive behind that initial shocking video? Money? Reputation? Or had a quiet divorce been planned long ago? No proof of a sham marriage, no official confirmation of divorce, only prolonged silence and ever-deepening cracks on both sides. Harry and Meghan from their Montecito villa perhaps gazed out at the Pacific, wondering if they could ever return to the spotlight without being consumed by it. Anne, at Gatcombe Park, continued tending her vegetable garden and horses, letting time clarify everything. William, inside Buckingham Palace, prepared for the future under a heavier family burden than ever before. And the world, after the storm, still could not stop watching. Because in a kingdom of whispers and carefully staged images, truth is always the last fugitive, and perhaps it will forever refuse to fully reveal itself. What do you think? Did Harry and Meghan's actions stem from genuine hurt? Or was it a calculated move to control their public image? Share your thoughts with us in the comments section. Remember to like, share, and subscribe for more. Also, click the next video showing on your screen. You will enjoy.